that in the title, I think, right? 37. Are we up to 37 already?
Yeah. Well,
I think so.
Matt,
What's that?
let's not even get him involved right out of the gate here. We started a week after WrestleMania. You and I did.
Yeah.
And then Austin jumped on our coattails.
No, and then the creator came back.
No.
Austin is, I believe, the progenitor of Tough Bumps, correct?
He is the progenitor. He just
no, progenitor means that it came from Austin. Tough Bumps came from Austin.
No,
he's the progenitor.
That's right.
Before we even started this week's episode, did you know what progenitor was?
Me?
Yeah. Who's the other Austin?
I didn't hear you say my name. Yeah, I've heard that word before.
Yeah. He's heard that word before.
I didn't know how to spell it, but I've heard it.
You've heard, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We have fans in the chat.
Oh, excellent. Let's see who we've got in there. Oh boy.
Yeah. Welcome, My Call Comedy.
So the My Call Comedy says there's Eric. Joe was right. Joe was right about what? And Eric does sound, and there's a flag. What country is that? I don't recognize.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. The My Call Comedy. All right.
My Call Comedy. What's actually comedy is the fact that anyone takes you seriously. So there's that.
So should I delete him?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Unlike soft as baby crap New Yorkers like Crazy Joe, we don't delete people. We let you stay.
That's right. He says, I know you guys are jealous of Joe.
Yeah, I'm jealous of Joe while writing about Notre Dame athletics all week.
That's right. I'm jealous of Joe because I'd love to be a 70-year-old man who just sits and rages at a webcam all day. Or a phone.
You know, yeah, I'm so envious of a man that lives in Section 8 housing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so envious of a man that has to live off the government because he was a lifetime cabbie.
That's right. Wow. Oh, David Fitzgerald says Joe is more famous than you will ever be. Wow.
Yeah, well, okay.
Bringing the heat, David Fitzgerald.
You know what's funny is these Crazy Joe nut huggers have taken time out of their Sunday to come to our show to sit here and glaze Crazy Joe on air.
How's the Lexapro, Matt? What is Lexapro?
It's an antidepressant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't take anything for my my depression. Maybe I should, but some of them come with side effects.
Yeah, well,
like depression.
Exactly. Yeah, may cause suicidal ideations. It's like, oh great, I'm so glad I'm taking this.
Yeah.
This thing, I'm trying not to kill myself. So I'm gonna take something that might make me kill myself.
Your antidepressants will make you depressed. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Austin is the best. Austin is very good.
Oh, Austin, you have a fan.
I appreciate that.
The My Call Comedy.
We're the only people who watch you guys, just us. Okay, well, TikTok likes and Instagram likes and Facebook likes would disagree with you. And even if you guys were the only two that watched, listened, whatever, we'd still be here.
Right. It's engagement, and that's what we like.
Yep. So thank you for doing exactly what we want you to do. We own you.
No, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. I always say, you know, one of my mottos has always been I'd rather be loved than hated, but I'd rather be hated than ignored. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'd rather be hated than ignored.
Say whatever you want. Unlike that petulant, pussified New Yorker you guys follow, we're not going to block you.
That's right. Bad Billy 86. Hey Billy says, hey guys, you gave herpes advice a couple of weeks ago. How about advice for hemorrhoids?
Well, Billy, I don't know if we wanted to give hemorrhoids advice, we would go to the source, Crazy Joe. I hear that's how he got his gig with Radio X with Captain Scotty. Captain Scotty gave him a hemorrhoidal exam, if you catch my drift.
No, it's well, yeah, down under. That's why you had to take him down under.
Oh yeah.
No, I believe it's General Scotty.
General Scotty. Christ,
Yes.
General Scotty stuck a thumb in Joe's butthole.
Oh my goodness. Well. So speaking of beef, wow, boy. So David Fitzgerald clearly prefers Austin over Eric. Well, Austin is the progenitor, of course, so that makes sense. But speaking of beef, so we get to the big beef of the week here.
With,
oh my!
Two dipshits.
So I wasn't. I'm not aware of this podcast. I didn't know this was a thing.
I thought you were a fan of the coach, Austin.
I mean, when he's not talking about wrestling, sure.
Look. I'm gonna preface this by saying the fact that these two idiots gained so much from the wrestling business, and anything they have is from the business of professional wrestling. And all they do is want to tear it down. And look, I have no issue with anyone that has an issue with me, that wants to say anything. When you're in this business of journalism, when you're in this business, you open yourselves up to criticism.
Yeah.
And the idiots that have entered into our chat today. And again, we're keeping them here because one, their idiocy is on full display.
Yeah.
And two, and homo is HOMO, not HOEMOE, yellow robe guy. You're welcome for the education.
Oh, I assumed he was addressing someone he knows named Ho Mo.
Oh, well, maybe that's his boyfriend Mo, and he wants to be sexual with him.
Maybe.
So in this business of journalism, if you partake in it, you open yourselves up to criticism. And the coach and bro, Vince Russo, opened themselves up to criticism.
Right.
And I levied the criticism. First, I levied it a few months ago against one Vince Russo. Vince Russo, a man who on Dark Side of the Ring said the quote, "If I could never talk about pro wrestling again, I would be a very happy man."
Yeah.
And had spent time bemoaning the business of professional wrestling. Then he gets paid to talk about pro wrestling, and all of a sudden he's once again an expert.
Mm-hmm. So when you say these guys, they just want to tear it down, do you mean, because I don't I don't watch the Coach and Bro show or listen to it.
I don't either. Honestly, I really don't. But what I will say is what I have read from them in little snippets I see on X, because I engage with people about professional wrestling. No, thank you. That's Crazy Joe's job. So the premise of it is I do get snippets of videos that may interest me on X. Austin can attest to this.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do see snippets, and all they do is complain about what they see. Doesn't matter. WWE, AEW, they seem to be nicer to AEW than they are WWE, but it's obvious on this show that Vince Russo has a major axe to grind with Paul Levesque, because he always complains about Triple H. He's the one who started the rumor that The Rock was going to start a hostile takeover in TKO and force Triple H out.
Yeah. I remember him saying that, but
I do remember that.
I have a question though. Now, in fairness to them, though, if you don't actually watch the show and you only see snippets, I mean, aren't you seeing? Because, for example, when we post shorts on social media of this show or any of the shows that I'm involved in, it's always moments that might be more controversial, or I mean, in other words, if over the course of doing their show, if they're saying something nice or something positive, nobody's going to post snippets of that because that's not going to draw viewers. People like controversy. People like, I imagine this segment will gain a high level of engagement for that reason. So, I mean, if you're only seeing snippets, you're not getting the full picture.
I agree. You're good. Go ahead, Austin. Sorry.
I mean, it's just kind of on brand for every podcast I've ever seen Vince Russo do, is complaining about whether it's WWE or AEW or just wrestling in general. Like, this isn't anything new for Vince Russo. He's been doing this for, I want to say, like 10 years now, just making new podcasts, and it's overwhelmingly negative over positive.
And the thing is he never presents an idea of how to make it better.
Right.
It's all just, I hate this sucks, and that's that. And I want to say hello to a friend of the show, Bad Billy 86 is in the chat. You can find Bad Billy on Patriot Confederation, Bearded Patriots. Billy, good friend of mine and Matt's.
Also Outlaw Radio, which we do carry
Radio,
on
yes.
IPM Nation. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So welcome, Billy. Thank you for defending us. And so, yeah, Vince Russo, let's not gloss over the fact that Vince Russo has had some of the worst storylines in pro wrestling history.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all in agreement there.
Right.
Like, there isn't a worse wrestling mind than Vince Russo.
He's a bad one. I'll say that.
Something I'll always defend him on is, and I think and I agree with something that Bruce Pritchard said not long ago, that a lot of the Attitude Era stuff does not hold up. And I think we've talked about that a little bit on the show. But one thing that I've heard Russo talk about this is that he said that when he was in charge of writing Raw, it was always important to him that everything felt important. And by the way, this is something I give him credit for in a myriad of other things that I'll criticize him for, but I will stick up for him on this. It was always important to him that everything felt important and that each individual had some sort of gimmick or angle. So you weren't just putting throwaway matches out there that nobody cared about, that kind of thing. And that's something that I think has been lost in other areas outside of the Russo era. And that's something I do give him credit for, is that sort of attention to detail and making sure that everything and everyone on the show feels important in some way.
But yeah. I'm gonna counter that, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin, chime in, please. With where do these stories go? Where do they go? What is the end here? Like, that's been a complaint Eric Bischoff has had for many years with Vince Russo.
Yeah.
Where does this story go?
Right.
What is point? Yes, you have point A covered, but what's point B, and where does point B take us?
Right.
Yeah. And so there's no real story there. And you're just running in quicksand.
Right. Yeah.
So I called out Vince Russo on Twitter for his lies about the professional wrestling business. And we actually have what we would like to call receipts.
Yes. Exhibit A. We'll go ahead and pull up the first one here. Let's see. Oh, I just got to format that a little bit better so people watching the video feed can see it. But of course, we will describe this for our for our audio only listeners. Let's see on the podcast. Let me see if I can make that bigger.
Now, he said this. The fact that I would ever lie about anything related to professional wrestling is a bleeping joke. Wrestling isn't, and never will be important enough to lie about. 99.9% of the time, those who called other liars are doing it to cover up the fact that they're the, and he goes on.
Yeah.
I countered with, you have lied about wrestling. You said you wish you could never talk about pro wrestling again. Yet you keep talking about it and keep coming back. A constant cancer on the body of pro wrestling.
So that's a pretty I have to say that's pretty aggressive, Eric. You really went in, as I think the young people say.
Well, that I don't even think I went in. I think I just said what the opinion of most professional wrestling fans on Vince Russo is. I did not cuss. I did not.
True.
I wasn't rude to him. I mean, maybe calling him a constant cancer on the body of pro wrestling is a bit much.
I think that's going in, as the young people say.
Okay, fine. But I don't think it warranted Vince Russo's response, which is the exact cowardice that Vince Russo has always shown. He insulted me right after I said that and said, Mark, say what? Mark said what?
He's a clever guy. Clever guy, that Vince Russo.
Oh, yeah. And then proceeded to immediately block me.
Okay. Then you were blocked, which I think is the next graphic we have here that shows that you were, in fact.
So you
there we have it. Yep.
For making a fair criticism of you with receipts. I actually posted the video that I recorded of Vince Russo saying this.
Right.
He said, Mark said what? And blocked me. We fast forward to earlier this week, Jonathan Coachman, who has come back into pro wrestling relevance by jumping on national media shows to bash Vince McMahon with his sex scandal, decided to glaze the Netflix mixed martial arts card, which faces a bunch of has-beens versus a bunch of never wases in an attempt to dethrone the UFC. I commented, in case anyone is wondering, Coach is probably a paid mouthpiece for MVP.
Now explain. So MVP, what does that stand for?
Most valuable promotions.
Most valuable promotion.
It's run by Jake Paul.
Yes.
By the way, before we go any further, Billy wants a link. He wants to join in on the Vince Russo conversation.
Yeah, certainly. If it's okay with Austin.
Go ahead.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
The progenitor approves. Let's
now, once again, a step ahead of a certain New Yorker. We actually bring people into the show.
That's right. That is correct.
Well, David, I'm sorry, as executive producer of Tough Bumps, which I am, Billy, you aren't allowed on this show. Well, he most certainly is.
I just sent him the link.
So as Matt is sending the link, Coach responded to me on.
Oh boy!
And his response was even more cowardly than Vince Russo's.
He just went in and blocked you.
Oh, he just blocked you outright.
No, he responded. Matt has the screenshot of his response. He basically called me an idiot.
Oh, wait, did I miss that one?
Yeah, I believe you did.
Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, I skipped ahead. Gotcha. There it is.
Coach responded, and in case anyone is wondering what, this fool just got blocked. This is why when we try to engage on social media, it's so hard for the 80% that actually want to have intelligent back and forth. You have idiots like Eric who make it so we just simply can't do it. So annoyed. Coach, yes, you can do it. You just want to engage with positive engagement. You don't want to engage with everybody. And the fact of the matter is, you look at what we're doing on here today, right now. We're allowing you idiots, you crazy Joe nut huggers, to be in our chat room, pollute it with your nonsense, and we address you and handle it like the professionals that we are.
Yes.
Then, after insulting me via X, Coach, being the gutless, spineless coward he truly is, went ahead and he blocked me on X.
Yeah.
So I have been blocked by both hosts of the Coach and Bro Show by just pointing out simple criticisms.
Right.
Basic criticisms. So yeah, they're both cowards. They both are herpes on the professional wrestling world. Neither one of them really contributed anything. I think the only thing we remember Coach for is wearing a thong and having DX spray painted on his ass cheek.
Oh my.
He pissed on Vince McMahon one time.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did. He did. And I will give Coach this. He had a great theme song.
Really good theme song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only good thing, what's really the only good thing Vince Russo did was with the Deadly Game tournament.
But
that's like his magnum opus, and even then it wasn't fully all him.
No, he wanted someone else to win. I forget who. And we'll let Billy chime in here.
Yeah, Bad Billy has joined us. Hello, Billy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing all right. How are you, Billy?
All right, boy. You got these trolls that have invaded the chat. And
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
It just amuses me how they think they know my taste in music when I don't wear them very often, but I've got Guns N' Roses shirts and I've got AC/DC. I've even got a Sepsis shirt that I don't wear that one at all because I want to keep it in good condition.
Nice.
But that's not why I called, because once I heard the name Vince Russo, I had to jump in, and I'm not very much of a wrestling fan. I'll say that much. However, the Brawl for All really, really did intrigue me back in the day, and that's why I wanted to jump
the Brawl for All, yes.
Yes. Now
that was done, I would like to say, sorry to cut you off, Billy. It was done to get another wrestler hurt. Vince Russo wanted JBL to get his ass kicked.
Well, thank you, Mike. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for acknowledging what you don't know. But I've always wondered myself.
David, I would like to say, I think everyone that's on the screen right now that you are watching, by the way, thank you for your viewership, listens to the rap crap.
I enjoy rap music. Yeah. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Of course.
But I like a whole variety of music, especially my ultimate, if I really have to go down to what really puts me in a good mood, some good old blues, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Jimi Hendrix, even B.B. King. Probably one of my favorite songs of all time is "The Thrill Is Gone."
Yeah,
especially when he did B.B. King did that song with Tracy Chapman. They just almost perfected it. Also with Pavarotti too, when he put in opera. But I'm going off topic. But what intrigued me about the Brawl for All is because I've always wondered really who was really the toughest amongst professional wrestlers
Mhm.
and see how they do if they put on boxing gloves and go for some rounds. What I think the biggest mistake about doing that tournament is that they should have consulted with real boxing officials.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think that the injuries would have been so bad.
Right.
In that, and there's an episode of Dark Side of the Ring that very, very succinctly covers the issues with the Brawl for All, in that they had just signed Dr. Death Steve Williams to $1 million deal, which at that time was a lot of money for WWE. And they wanted Dr. Death to be built up as this real tough guy to have a feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Problem is, he got his ass knocked out in the first round of the tournament.
Well, I think Bart Gunn was completely underestimated. They had no idea
Right.
how good and how tough he was, especially because prior to wrestling, I'm sure he had a few street brawls here and there, and he did a little bit of tough man competition and things like that. But Bart Gunn, after being flattened by Butterbean, went into MMA and he did really, really
Yeah.
well.
The thing with Bart Gunn was they didn't expect him to win. So
Yeah.
We had no idea what they had as far as fighter talent goes with Bart
I
Gunn.
firmly believe that the Butterbean match was his punishment for screwing
Yeah.
up.
It
He got
was,
pun-
without a
He
doubt.
got punished for winning the tournament.
Yeah. The whole thing is that Bart Gunn is a better fighter than he was a wrestler.
Well,
And
yeah.
I think the big problem with the brawl,
off, David.
the big problem with the Brawl for All, ultimately, and there's a lot of problems there that time precludes us from getting into. The big problem that I've always had with it is you had a bunch of mid-card and opening match guys in this tournament. And you didn't refer to a lot of them by their ring names. You referred to them with different names.
I don't remember that. Who's an example of that? I don't remember them changing names.
When they announced the tournament, Road Warrior Hawk was referred to as Mike Laurinaitis.
He was? I don't even remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
They-
They called Godfather, they tried to go back to the thing.
They did?
well, the only one that really used his real name, of course, was Dan Severn.
Well, yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people expected Dan Severn to win the tournament because of his experience in the UFC. The thing is, though, he is purely a wrestler with horrible
Yeah,
strikes.
he was never a striker.
Yeah.
Well, they also went to Ken Shamrock. And Ken Shamrock was going to take part in it until he's like, well, what's the end game here? If I lose,
Right.
you're gonna bury me on the card. If I win, what do I get out of it?
Well, if it was Ken Shamrock, it's kind of a lose-lose situation because they wanted Steve Williams to win that tournament. So whoever was going to win that tournament that wasn't Steve Williams was going to get punished. And if Ken Shamrock joins in, and because they always talked about his MMA career no matter what, and you have this guy lose to Bradshaw or Godfather or something, like it makes him look horrible. So I don't know what the story is behind Ken not being in the tournament, but it'd have been a lose-lose situation for him if he did join the tournament.
Actually, I do believe that if it was Bart Gunn and Ken Shamrock in the finals, that would have been a really good fight. And I can't tell you who would have won, but I can tell you, I know a lot about Ken Shamrock's background, growing up in juvenile detention centers before Bob Shamrock adopted him. And Bob Shamrock's philosophy was that because he ran that he ran that ranch for boys, and if two of them had a problem, Bob Shamrock's solution was to throw them in the ring, give them boxing gloves, and slug it out until it's out of their system.
Yeah.
And that's the way he ran things, And then Ken Shamrock pretty much started his career as a fighter in the Tough Man competition in North Carolina, and he won, so he was a Tough Man champion. And then you look at the rules for Brawl for All, and it's very similar to the Tough Man contest. We're talking 1 minute rounds, 16-ounce gloves. The only difference is, of course, you can't shoot for takedowns in the Tough Man competition, and so that was basically the only difference there. And Ken Shamrock, being a shoot fighter in Japan and being in the UFC and a Tough Man competition plus a wrestling background, he had the complete package. And I think he could have won that had he entered.
I think if he had been in it, he would have won it. I've always believed that if he had been in it.
Again,
I agree.
I circle back to the original point. There were two things going on with Ken Shamrock at that time. One, he was in the Intercontinental title picture, and that was as high as he was going to get in the card. If he loses in the Brawl for All, he loses all of that.
Yeah.
That's over. And secondly, this is me theorizing. I think he was backdoor negotiating with the UFC to return for the Tito Ortiz fight.
I want to ask you something about that, Eric. Well, go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to ask you when you're done.
So I think, so if he fights in this Brawl for All and loses, he loses $1 million payday from the UFC. Because who's going to want to see a guy who lost in a fake wrestling fight, fight the top MMA fighter in the world at that point in time, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz? So,
well,
I think that there were two issues with Ken, and both of them very valid.
Well, Ken Shamrock made very, very poor choices around the time he left. The first time he left the UFC to go to the WWE, and this is confirmed by past members of the Lions Den. I mean, the Lions Den was an elite club. We're talking some of the best fighters in the UFC. Ken Shamrock brought out Mikey Burnett. We're tough as nails brawler, and then Pete Williams knocks out Mark the Hammer Coleman with a high kick, and other small organizations also had a Lions Den fighters, like Tony Galindo had a deadly right hand, kind of like Tank Abbott.
Mm-hmm.
But there were things going on in the Lions Den that were behind the scenes that none of us knew about. And looking at it now, it's totally surprising. But Ken was a cocaine addict at that time.
Really?
When he was, and he was giving it to his fighters in the Lions
Jesus, I didn't know that. I didn't know about any of that.
There were drugs within the Lions Den that, as elite a club they were. I'm surprised that they would allow any of this. Of course, steroids. Look at he was over.
I mean, look at the guy.
He was 200 and almost 60 pounds when he was in the WWE, and then he drops down to 205 to fight Tito Ortiz less than 2 years later. And not only that, see, when Ken Shamrock returned to MMA, I mean, he looked good against Kazuyuki Fujita, or not Fujita, another Japanese fighter. He was beating on Fujita until he got tired and said, "I didn't want no more," and he was beating the shit out of Fujita. And then, of course, then he takes the fight with Don Fry. Great fight, one of the best fights in Pride fighting history. Of course, Don Fry broke his ribs in that fight, and almost knocked him out. But Ken Shamrock almost snapped Don Fry's ankle. But then came the Tito Ortiz fight, and Ken Shamrock never looked worse than in that first fight with Tito Ortiz. I mean, Tito just Tito, this was supposed to be Tito's ultimate match, somebody who can match his size and strength, because Tito Ortiz was just mauling through everybody like a hot knife through butter. And Ken Shamrock got it worse than some of the previous opponents. I mean, went downstairs from there between the drugs, the steroids, something happened there. And I get the fact that Ken was 38 years old, but shit, dropping down that much weight within 2 years, and there's rumors of drugs, something happened.
Well, and keep in mind that at that time, the UFC was really trying to get in good with all the state athletic commission.
Exactly.
So safe to say they were testing at a higher clip than they probably were prior, which would mean that Ken had to get clean quick. And if you're on the gas, you cannot cold turkey it. Your body will go to crap. Basically, you have to wean yourself off of it. Ken didn't have that time to wean himself off of it. He had to just be done. And you could really tell in that first Tito Ortiz fight, the size difference between the two of them. It was awful. And so, Brawl for All was a complete joke. But that was indicative of the problems with Vince Russo. There was never a end game with any story he did. And there's always an excuse as to why the story failed. And it's never Vince Russo. That's the problem.
But it's also, you have to put some of that on Vince McMahon too, because Vince McMahon approved everything. Nothing happens without Vince McMahon's approval.
But then let's move on to WCW. He's like, oh, the NWO 2000 angle would have worked, but Bret Hart got injured.
Who was it in that documentary that called Vince Russo the skid mark on the underwear of life?
That sounds like Jim Cornette.
It does sound like Jim Cornette. That sounds like something he would definitely say.
Yeah, I'm going to say with 98% certainty it was Jim Cornette. Because Eric Bischoff dislikes Vince Russo, but he never says anything overtly negative about Vince Russo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's pretty critical of him, but I don't think he has any genuine hatred for him. Whereas I think Jim Cornette genuinely, with every cell of his being, has an intense, seething hatred.
By the way, real quick, Gary Coleman, how does it feel to be the odd man out when you're not liked by either party? Because I understand that JoJo keeps kicking you off his channel, and here you are trying to be the big tough guy. I mean,
I had a similar thought, Billy, because Gary Coleman, I keep hearing Joe talk about how he's convinced that that Gary Coleman is either me, you, or Eric, and he's none of us, clearly, because he's in our chat room.
Yeah, no, here he is now trying to go against the grain against us, and just total clown. So how's it feel to be disliked on all sides?
That being said, I very much enjoyed Different Strokes growing up. I thought it was a great show.
What you talking about, Willis?
That's right. Anyway,
Gary doesn't need you Nazis to approve of him. We don't call black people chocolatos.
No, we do not. No, we do not.
No. How are we Nazis? We've never said a racist thing.
Yeah, I know. It's a little strange.
The hubris going on in the chat is just palpable right now.
I do want to ask you though, because the Brawl for All was such a disaster. Do you think though that had they played their cards right, maybe got some boxing officials, boxing trainers, it could have gone a little bit better without injuries?
I think the Brawl for All could have worked, but they didn't take enough time to actually think about how it could work.
Yeah, and that's even when Vince Russo has talked about it, I've always gotten the impression that the whole thing was very rushed. It was
Yeah.
put together very hurriedly because that was a point where, at that time, still the WWF was trying to find ways to be cool and hip and relevant. And UFC is getting big. Maybe we should try to do something like that and just kind of shoehorn it into this pro wrestling show.
I don't think that I don't think at that point in time, any legitimate boxing organization would have helped WWF.
That's a good point.
I disagree with you just a little bit there because when I competed, when I boxed, it was called the College of Southern Idaho Boxing Smoker, and it was no different than the Tough Man contest. We wore headgear, 16-ounce gloves, went for 1-minute rounds. Once the bell rings, you just have to brawl. It's not like, you don't go out there and throw your jab, dance around a little bit, because you ain't got time to do that. You got to go out there and throw and for 1 minute, and it gets exhausting. So and for a long time, the Idaho Boxing Commission wouldn't have anything to do with it. But then come shortly, probably in early 2000, they decided we're going to get involved in it, still with the same rules as of today. Whereas the Tough Man competition is not allowed in the state of Idaho unless it's up on the reservation in Coeur d'Alene at that casino up there. And that's about the only place you'll catch it in the state of Idaho. But the Tough Man competition does not have the greatest reputation.
But
I think with some some rules and proper paperwork and all that, I do think that they could have made this work a little bit better. I mean, this was put on by guys who don't know how to put on fights, set by in the ring by guys who really don't know how to fight.
And that's Jim Ross on that episode of Dark Side of the Ring. And Billy, when we're done, when we're off air, I will go ahead and send you a link to that episode of Brawl for All. Jim Ross.
I've seen it. I know what you're
Jim
talking
Ross
about.
said point blank, it was a dumb idea because in order for it to work, you would have had to plan it out. And so it would have been a fake Tough Man competition. So then it gets rid of the Tough Man style and it's a joke. If you make it real, what ended up happening happens. And it's just a train wreck. So I file it under there's no way you could have made it.
Now, was this the first time though that other than shoot matches that we really had a legitimate fights within the WWE? Or I know they had that boxing match between Mr. T and Rowdy Roddy Piper, which was a joke. That was fake. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
They didn't even throw real punches. At least in the Brawl for All, they were throwing real punches.
Now,
then they had the boxing match between The Miz and Daniel Pewter as well.
I remember that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Or was it? It was called the Dixie Dog fight.
Yes.
I think the big thing, the glaring issue overall with this is people don't realize that pro wrestling events have to be sanctioned by state athletic commissions.
Right.
But they still have to be sanctioned. And and the issue is if you're going to do a real Tough Man competition, you have to do it within the rules of the state athletic commission that the event is taking place in.
Eric, I'm about to throw a name at you that I'm pretty sure you've heard before, and I've talked to him. and he's told me some very interesting stories. That being Monty Cox. Yeah, I mean, who all did he manage back in the day? Pat Miletich, Jeremy Horn, Dave Menate. The list goes on there. And I mean, these are names that, unless you're an MMA fan, you're probably not going to know who they are.
Right. And so, yeah, it just was a dumb idea. I would say if you take the top, and I will open it to Matt and Austin as well to disagree with me if they feel I'm wrong. If you take the top 20 bad ideas in pro wrestling history,
yeah,
I guarantee you 13 to 14 of them are Vince Russo's.
That may be true. That may be true. Yeah, I'm open to that.
So, yeah, at the end of the day on this is the fact of the matter that all of this it's just dumb that Vince Russo in the coach, if anything, I laugh about it because it's like, I'm an independent blogger, I'm an independent writer, and I'm an independent podcast host. And you guys see fit to respond to me, insult me, then immediately block me. You don't even give me a chance to respond.
Shit, motherfuckers.
And you don't ever address the issue at hand here.
Yeah, well, they're obviously very thin-skinned, deeply insecure people. If that's all it takes to block them.
Notice that coach
block
did not address that he is a paid mouthpiece for. That he's a paid mouthpiece for MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He never addressed the accusation. He just went on the attack.
Can we talk about that for a second, Eric? Because I don't know. So where does that accusation come from? And do you believe it? Are you convinced that it's true?
It wouldn't shock me. Look.
Yeah.
Jake Paul knows how to get promotion.
Yeah.
Jake Paul knows how to get eyes on his product. Obviously, they've done great numbers with Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
How you do that is through what was once viewed as a scandalous journalistic practice known as payola.
Mm-hmm.
What payola is you pay a journalist or a radio station or anything like that. You pay them to talk very highly about your product. And I will let you two, Billy and Matt, address this.
Oh God!
I
got no words. I
comment in the chat room that kind of made me laugh.
Matt, I make you impressed.
I mean, the garbage doesn't fall very far from the truck when you're riding the coattails of crazy.
Well, a couple of these comments have been funny. So for our audio listeners, at the Mike Hall Comedy Set, after hearing Eric talk, I now understand why Matt was so depressed. That actually did get a laugh out of me.
That's a good one, Mike Hall.
Well done, Mike Hall.
Who's the one that is trying to pretend that he's Eric here, calling himself a princess?
Oh, that was actually funny. All right. Anyway. Well,
why are you guys so obsessed with Matt's balls or Eric's balls? It's kind of disturbing.
I mean, they're just obsessed with us. It's actually in a sick, sad way. It has to make us feel good. I mean,
yeah, I'm flattered by it, to be honest with you.
I'm very flattered. It's a Sunday afternoon, and these people have nothing else better to do than come in and talk crap in a chat room that they have no interest on a show they have no interest in watching.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, clearly they're interested somehow, and
clearly they're invested.
Yeah. No.
It's funny how they tell us we don't know what we're talking about when, I mean, probably when it comes comes to wrestling, it's like I said, I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. I've got minimal knowledge, but I've been a fan of MMA since its inception, and I can't tell you very much about what's going on now because ever since the Reebok deal with the UFC, I just kind of lost interest. But I'm a walking, talking encyclopedia of MMA history.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, Vince, closing out on this subject, Vince Russo and Jonathan Coachman are cowards. And yeah, just despicable human beings in general. Like, if you're gonna insult someone, at least leave it open to them responding.
Right. What is Coach is no longer at Jonathan Coachman is no longer at ESPN, correct?
I believe he was let go.
Yeah, I don't think he works there anymore.
Okay. So what does he just where is he now, or does he just do the podcast with Russo?
On his
I think he works for DAZN or something with boxing.
yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Would also lead credence to my accusation that he's a paid mouthpiece for MVP because MVP works very closely with DAZN.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Eric, I do want to ask you something else too. And since I saw there's a picture being brought up, the upcoming event, we have Ronda Rousey going to be taking on Gina Carano, both of them. Ronda Rousey, 39, Gina Carano, 42. I don't know. I think, is this okay, or is this going to be a train? What do you
Train
think?
wreck. I said it at the start of this, and Austin's an MMA fan, so we'll invite
Yeah.
him to comment as well. This is a match between a has-been and a never was.
Oh, I'm not going to say that Gina Carano was and never was. I seen her fight in person. So.
She could have been a good fighter, but she was a big fish in a very, very small pond when she competed. And the fact of the matter is, this is a fight we wanted to see 10 years ago. They also have Francis Ngannou fighting someone that I've never heard of. They have Nate Diaz, who at this point is punch drunk, versus Mike Perry, who couldn't hack it in the UFC and got cut and is now struggling to make a career in bare knuckle fighting championship. So there's just so much that I look at this card and it's like, who cares?
You know what? I do got to say this though. Is when I was doing my podcast, the Badlands Combat Sports Radio Show, little did I know, and I only just found out about this, but in 2009, or was it 2010, I interviewed this young man named Kevin Ross. Little did I know, now that's Gina Carano's husband.
Oh,
So yeah, I don't put a lot of validity into this card. I will, if I have nothing else going on, I may watch it, but I'm not going to sit here and it's going to be must-see TV for me.
oh, I gotta watch it.
So-
There's no way I'm not watching it.
I'm certainly curious.
Oh yeah, I got to watch it too. But I'll just say one of the most unforgettable nights of my life was I was living in Memphis, Tennessee, and of course it was 2007, and the first Elite XC card was only 15 miles south of me in South Haven, Mississippi, and I'm thinking, you know, I was kind of broke at the time, and I'm thinking I wish I could get tickets, and then all of a sudden I've got my friend Brent, whose brother is with MMA Weekly, and he calls me up, says, hey, we'll have you a seat ringside with the press. And I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, we're serious. So that I remember during the event, my girlfriend at the time, she calls me, and it's a bit noisy, and says, how close are you to the front row? And I said, honey, the people behind me paid over $200. I think it was $300 for their seat, and I'm in it for free. This is cage sided as its
Yeah.
best. I can grab the chain link right now. That's how close I was.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that night, of course, they had Renzo Gracie fight Frank Shamrock. Yeah, I'll stick it up your ass, Gary. I got pictures to prove it, so you can go ahead and say what
Oh,
you
that
want.
Gary Coleman. What you talking about, Billy?
Yeah. So,
Oh, these guys. Oh, these guys.
yeah, yeah. That night though, it was Renzo Gracie against Frank Shamrock, which is Ken Shamrock's brother. And I remember because that's what got me in the martial arts to begin with was the Gracie family. So to see Renzo Gracie take on a Shamrock, I mean that was one of the best nights of my life right there. Even though the fight ended in a train wreck, but the best fight of the whole night was Gina Carano against Julie Kedzie, and that was actually the first fight to really bring women's MMA to the limelight. And even though it didn't end in a finish, and I expected Gina Carano with her Thai boxing background to knock her out. It ended in decision, but Julie Kedzie was tough, but boy, she got banged up pretty good in that fight. And then, of course, Bigfoot Silva against Cabbage Carrera. I think I almost caught one of Cabbage's teeth when Bigfoot kneed him right in the face, because that happened right in front of me. When Cabbage came crumbling down, I thought the ring was going to collapse.
Yeah. I just circle back to I'm not interested.
Yeah, well, in that fight that's coming up, and I'm talking when it comes to.
I often look at Gina Carano and just kind of wonder what might have been if her heyday had happened when UFC signed Ronda Rousey.
Or and they're just when she fought Cyborg was just on another level. We're talking two women with Thai boxing experience, but that fight was wow. I thought Gina Carano would have been a better match, but Cyborg just destroyed her. Cyborg destroyed almost everybody she fights.
I'm going to give Austin a bit of a plug here. Austin, you should let the people in the chat know about your rap group, the LN, and where they can find you.
I do have music on SoundCloud if you're interested. We haven't made a song in a long time, but it's out there.
What is the name of the
the LNC gang?
The LNC gang.
You might have to spell it out for them. I think grammar, spelling, all of that is a bit above their knowledge.
And you are the progenitor of the LNC gang, is that correct?
No, that's like a, how like there's some groups with no leaders, it's one collective. That's kind of how we are.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, if we geez, we talked about a lot there. Do we probably should move on? We're into the second hour.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So I guess, Billy, unless you have anything to add, we can cut you loose. I know you're not a current pro wrestling fan, as it were.
Oh no, that's my wife's forte.
Oh really? Yeah.
I've been coming in and I once in a while I'll tell her that I think Nia Jax is sexy, and
really
I do. You know what? And you can figure out for yourselves why, but I think two of the most attractive women in wrestling are Piper Niven and Nia
No kidding.
Jax.
Okay. All right.
More power to you.
Yeah.
Billy, where can we find you?
Okay, so just thebeardedpatriots.com is where You can find most of the work that I do or get links to it. And yeah, I mean, but most of my stuff's politically, and this is the beauty of it. We're in a country that's so divided. Is here I am with some people that we're not 100% on par politically, and very different in our views. But hey, there's still love there, and there's not a lot of that in the rest of the world, and we need to come together a lot more.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, political difference needs to stop dividing
Yeah.
us. Just opinions are not going to change. Doesn't mean we can't get along.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
So anyway, you all have a good one. God bless. And,
Billy, thanks for joining us.
yeah, and the trolls can keep sucking my nuts.
Well said.
Take it
All right,
easy,
thanks,
guys.
Billy. Take care.
Dude.
All right, wonderful. Let's see. Oh, Bad Billy leaves us. Well, that was interesting. That we ended up covering a lot of ground there. I didn't expect that.
Well, you know, that's kind of when you go into the rabbit hole of bad booking in pro wrestling, you find things that you may have forgotten about.
Right. That's true. That's true. So before we move on, anything to add on Vince Russo and the coach, the two very thin-skinned individuals who have blocked you? So for our audio listeners, Eric is offering the double bird.
Fuck you, coach. Fuck you, Vince Russo.
Ooh, I thought we weren't supposed to use that word anymore.
You know what? I will get, if there's an issue with people from Irish Tribune, I will go ahead and
Address it.
address it, and
Okay.
I will show them the receipts.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the Mike Hall Comedy says, I bet Austin can drive himself.
Austin can.
I do have a car. I do have
Wow.
a car.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's kind of a shit box, but it is a car.
Very good. Very good. Well, should we move on to we've got Ricochet
Oh dear God.
was in the news recently.
Big Baldy. That's his gimmick. He's bald.
Yeah.
Like this whole
I don't know.
episode is called when social media makes you a soft individual.
Yeah. It's very odd situation.
Yeah. Basically the story goes, earlier this week, AEW, I'm going to assume it was an AEW fan on X, criticized Ricochet's acting abilities, and Ricochet countered with, I'm glad you got MS.
Yeah. Which is now Ricochet is a heel. We should remind
He is a
everyone of
heel.
that. He is a heel. And from what I've seen, now I don't watch enough AEW enough to see Ricochet's work in AEW, but a very different persona than in WWE.
He's
where, of
actually-
course, he was always
yeah.
a babyface.
He was always a babyface in WWE, and I remember when he turned heel in AEW, I was like, I don't know if it'll work, but I actually think Ricochet has done some of the best work of his entire career as a heel so far in AEW. But what we're going to get into, there's a difference between being a heel and just being insensitive, rude, an idiot, a douchebag. Like, there's differences, and unfortunately some people don't know those differences.
Well, do you think it's a matter of not knowing the difference, or just maybe really
I think
just really leaning into being a heel?
I think
Maybe that's the same thing, but
I think the saying is he got caught up in his feelings.
yeah. So you don't think he was trying to be a heel? You think he genuinely was upset?
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
think he genuinely was upset because he had to scroll through the person's X feed to get this information.
Yeah.
And, at some point there needs to be that buffer. Like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
And he did, and then that buffer, he either doesn't have it or he ignored it.
Right.
Yeah, it's more like, if you're a heel, you you have to be more creative in what you do, especially on Twitter. Like we see heels on Twitter that use Twitter like in a great way. Becky Lynch is one of them.
Oh, Becky Lynch is amazing on social media.
MJF is great at social media, but like Ricochet, instead of taking the time to be creative or because this person, I assume it was just banter. It wasn't like, I assume it wasn't like malicious or anything like that. It was just
Right.
common Twitter banter, and Ricochet took it a step too far instead of actually trying to be a good heel and try and banter back with the person.
Yeah.
I saw the actual interaction on X. And again, I go back to the point with Coach and Bro, is it wasn't rude. It wasn't disrespectful. It was a fair criticism by a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made that criticism, and and Ricochet just took it a step further. Now we're going to go ahead and circle to Samantha Irvin, Ricochet's wife.
Yeah, former WWE ring announcer, one of the best ever in my view.
Who deactivated her X account because she was getting death threats from people.
And,
I didn't realize that part.
I mean,
it's reactivated. She actually posted, I believe, screenshots of them on Instagram. It's now we go to the fans. You're even worse than Ricochet was, because now you are threatening someone's ability to live. Mm-hmm. You are like, in this world, with all the issues we've had with stalking, violence against celebrities, for a variety of reasons, and you guys go keyboard warrior and decide to make the situation that much worse.
Yeah.
This is an awful situation all the way around. I think that we need to really, it's going to be interesting to see how AEW responds to this.
Yeah.
Well, he was not on the most recent episode of what show is he usually on? Dynamite. He was left off the show.
He's usually
right?
on. He's usually on. He's one of those guys that works both. He usually does both Dynamite and Collision, and he wasn't on either.
And my understanding is too, from what I've read online, they did not force him. AEW did not force him to apologize.
AEW and Warner Brothers didn't force Ricochet to apologize, but Fightful said that it was a friend of his that was like, "Hey, I think you went a little too far here. Like, it would be in your best interest to apologize," which it is, if we want to be honest. And I don't know if I fully believe that AEW didn't want Ricochet to apologize. It might have been just like a Tony Khan might have said like a little thing to him about it, but who knows? And it's kind of this has happened in AEW before, where a wrestler has said something that they should not have said, and sometimes Tony Khan acts on it quickly, sometimes they don't.
What's another example? Because I feel like there's something in my brain, but I can't quite pull it out.
Sammy Guevara in like 2021 said, I won't repeat what he said, but he said he basically wanted to sexually assault Sasha Banks.
Right.
And he got taken off TV immediately. He went to sensitivity training, and he was gone for like months.
I don't like going down this proverbial rabbit hole of sitting here and going down this rabbit hole of one sin being worse than the other. Okay.
Mhm.
But I feel it's important. I feel like we kind of have to here.
Mhm.
Ricochet ridiculed someone with a disability.
Yeah.
That is wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
No place for it in society. Sammy Guevara threatened a violent, heinous crime
Yeah.
onto a indirect coworker because they both work in the same.
They are now coworkers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're different. Now, I do not excuse what Ricochet did. I do think
No.
there should be some form of a suspension involved with this, because people can say what they want about MJF, but I believe MJF knows the line, and there have been some things that I have seen him do that I'm like, that crosses the line a little bit. Like, some guy in a wheelchair came up to him at a wrestling con and said, "Why do you think you're better than me?" And he goes, "You want to know why? You want to know why? Really?" And he stands up and he goes, "I can do that." And
Yeah. Well, it's very, very in character.
but
Yeah.
again, it's in character, and I think the guy appreciated it. And I think he expected something like that from MJF. When you go up to a wrestler to meet them, it's a give and take type deal.
That's
Yeah.
true. The guy in the wheelchair probably would have been disappointed if MJF hadn't responded that
Well, yeah,
way.
because everybody knows MJF now. Like when he's
you want
out,
that experience.
when he's out in public, he's on. He is
Yeah,
in character whenever you see him in public.
Yeah, he keeps
And-
kayfabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He flipped off a little girl who was
That.
wearing his t-shirt, a
Yeah.
Burberry scarf,
Yeah.
paid for him to sign a figure, and the picture of them at a meet and greet is him flipping her off.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
The little girl looks like she's so happy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. She wanted the MJF experience. You want to experience that character
So,
when you approach. Yeah.
so there you go. You got it.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I saw people on like X and social media calling for Ricochet's job, which
Yeah.
I think is a little much. I don't think
Me
he should
too.
be fired for this. I really don't even think Ricochet should be buried for this. I think you can take him off TV for a little while and then have him come back, and he can basically do what he's been doing, and there shouldn't be. I don't think Ricochet should slide down the card for this.
No. I think, this is up there with what Kevin Nash said about Jadon Evans. I think it's tasteless.
Yeah.
I think it's recoverable. You can recover from this.
Yeah.
I think in Nash's case, he spoke a little inartfully. I think I don't
right.
think he
I
meant.
don't think there was malicious in
No.
I think
No,
Kevin
not
Nash.
at all.
I think Nash apologized for that also, didn't he?
Oh, he did. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Yeah.
Now Jenny, she's in the chat, and he did apologize. He did release a full statement apologizing for the interaction.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
But I do agree with her that yes, he should be suspended. There
Yeah.
does have to be some form of punishment associated with this.
Yeah.
because
Atonement. Yeah.
MS is a very serious disease. I believe it's a disease that doesn't have a cure. It's one of the
Right.
many that we in this country were just like, we'll give you the ability to live with it, not fix it.
Mhm.
So, and my major issue with it, and I could be wrong, is he had to scroll through the person's X feed
Right.
Yeah.
To find
to
something.
find something to rip on them about. And he chose a physical ailment that is not their fault. And
Right.
that to me is the crime. It isn't just the fact that he did it.
Right.
It is the fact that he looked for it, thought about it, and still did it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's kind of unlike everything I've ever heard about Ricochet, because I've heard Ricochet outside of wrestling. Like, if you meet him in real life, he's actually like a really good dude,
Yeah.
and which
He had a
kind
good
of
he had a good reputation up to
yeah,
this.
which like really made this situation even more bizarre. Like, I get it, you're trying, like I said before, I get it, you're trying to be a heel, but when you're a heel, there's some things you can't do, right? And
Yeah.
this is one of those things. Like, you can't go after somebody for a disease that they didn't ask for or they certainly didn't want, and now it's with them for the rest of their life. Like,
Right.
and it's just low. It's just like lowest common like heat
Right.
that he's trying to grab. It's like the cheapest heat he could try and get, instead of actually trying to be creative or funny or something else with it. And
It's
you
like
know,
people that target me for not driving when it's due to debilitating anxiety I get when I sit behind the wheel.
Jen in the chat just said maybe he was having a really bad day, which, people, that happens.
That happens.
And
Yep. We've all done things we
unfortunately,
regret.
I think everyone here, I'm sure Billy would agree if he were still here. We've all done stupid stuff when we've had a bad day.
yeah,
Of course.
So I'll go ahead and just say that. I think calls for his job are horrible virtue signaling.
Yeah.
I think it's just an issue. Yes, my call comedy. You can go ahead and no disability, just mental weakness. Got it. Cool. Yep, grow up. All right. Thank you. You can go on your merry little way now.
And you make me depressed, apparently.
I make Matt depressed. Mike, I want to say something. Matt allowed me to contribute to his radio show for almost 2.5 years. At any point, he could have pulled the plug.
True. That's true.
And he didn't. So, and yet decided to come and do a podcast with me. And he's allegedly good at reading people, but he can't read a book. So,
Who, Mike, at the Mike Hall Comedy?
yeah,
Okay.
he can read people, but not books.
All right. Well, fair enough. Anything else to say about Ricochet?
Should he get fired for this? Absolutely not. Suspension, sure. Maybe a sensitivity training. I don't know what that looks like, but if it's what he thinks he needs, sure. I mean, whatever can prevent this from happening again, because I don't know if AEW will be on his side if this happens again.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll happen again. I assume he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, by this point, yeah.
All right. Well, should we move on to Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, I think this will be a brief one.
The Worm.
The Worm.
Yes.
You know, what a life Dennis Rodman has led.
It's got to be like one of the best lives of all time.
Easily top 10.
Yeah.
Dude is an NBA Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Soon to be Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer. He's best friends with a North Korean dictator.
Right.
Left the Chicago Bulls in the midst of their second three-peat to go on a vacation to Vegas, where he hooked up with Carmen Electra repeatedly. This is after he had Madonna fly him via private jet to hook up with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This dude's life he's written 3 autobiographies.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them are just hilarious.
Yeah. I think and for the WWE Hall of Fame, sometimes a celebrity gets in where it's like, do they really need to be here? And it's like, no, they don't. But with Dennis Rodman, I actually think it's a welcome addition to the WWE Hall of Fame, considering what he did with the NWO and for WCW. And you got to think, when he appeared on Nitro was like right in the middle of that second Bulls dynasty where they were going on the three-peat. and no team was better or cooler than the Bulls. And he goes to WCW, and he is a part of the NWO, which is the coolest thing going on at the time in terms
Yep.
of wrestling. So I think it actually does make a whole lot of sense for him to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think it does too, because he basically gave WCW 6 to 8 more months for their run at the top.
Yeah.
You think so? You think he had that big of an impact?
Oh yeah. Oh
Really?
yeah. Especially at the moment he did it. You think about it, it was the summer months. It was a time when pro wrestling viewership is generally down.
Yeah.
And they capitalized on a great opportunity. Hogan and Rodman versus Jay Leno and versus DDP and Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
It was I assume led to big pay-per-view buys, I would imagine.
It did. I think it
Yeah.
was probably one. It has to be in the top 10 of WCW pay-per-view buys.
I would imagine so. I think I mean, who inducts him?
I mean,
It would probably be Hogan if he was still alive, right?
That's what I would assume it would be Hogan if he was alive, but now I don't know who it would be.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I think it would be Eric Bischoff or Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh, yeah, DDP makes sense.
I think Bischoff would probably do it now. Or DDP is probably.
DDP is probably going to be the one. Because I think he's worked with Rodman as a part of the Accountability House.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I'm not certain on that. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations to Dennis Rodman. Anything else on that, or should we get to the main event?
Good job, Rodzilla.
All right. Very good. So we have our main event this week, WrestleMania 20.
Yes.
Yes.
WrestleMania 20
all begins again.
Yes, the show took place on March 14th, 2004 at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Attendance was 20,000, which I assume is a sellout for Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah.
And it did a 1.63 buy rate. So it's pretty solid for WWE at that time period.
Yes. I mean, look, WWE, I have a belief on WrestleMania. There is a point in WrestleMania where they were torn between what they wanted to represent. Did they want to represent big stadium shows, or did they want to keep it in the small arenas? Keep in mind that WrestleMania X7, X8, and 19 were all in stadiums.
Yeah.
Then they did 20 at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, which is the same place WrestleMania 10 was.
Right. So the original
WrestleMania 1, yeah.
So it makes sense, but then you have 21 at
Staples Center.
Staples Center, and 22 is in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then you make the decision, we're just going to go stadiums full time.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's an interesting crux
where
they're at.
I remember Chris Jericho saying, and I actually agree with what Jericho said. I think it was in the WrestleMania documentary or something, where he said every 10th anniversary of WrestleMania should be in Madison Square Garden. Because I think that would be, I just think that'd be like a really cool tradition to where, you made it to another 10th WrestleMania, so why not have it in the birthplace of WrestleMania? Keep it in MSG every 10th one.
I kind of like that idea.
It works in theory.
Yes.
Look, it works in theory, and the reason I say that is because Madison Square Garden is home to the Rangers and the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
You they have playoff games that could go on in April and March. So it's hard to
Yeah.
get that schedule. And really now, if you do a major show at Madison Square Garden, you're kind of hurting yourself. The Garden isn't the Garden anymore. Let's be 100% frank.
Right.
I've been to Madison Square Garden, and the place is a dump.
Sorry, guys, are you still there?
Yeah, what happened?
Hey,
Something-
we're trying a new segment today, folks.
Yeah, progenitor of tough bumps. What happened there?
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having a little issue with the software. We're okay. We're still streaming, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh,
saw
cool.
the countdown and I'm like, okay. My point is it's very hard to have a show like WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden. That's
Yeah.
like having a Super Bowl at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, especially now, right? Because we're just so used to seeing WrestleMania in a stadium and like, you know, the big sets and the big extravagant pyro and entrances and stuff like that. Like, now it would make WrestleMania feel less.
Yeah,
Right.
it absolutely would. So I agree with Jericho in the sentiment, but
Yeah.
I don't agree with Chris Jericho in the overall scope of things because it just doesn't make sense anymore with how big WrestleMania has
Yeah.
become. And WWE, I feel, has cut back on Madison Square Garden shows.
Yeah, they don't run it a lot anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, especially when you have a state-of-the-art center in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Barclays
The Barclays Center. Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think that's like their arena now for New York whenever they go there.
Yeah.
Unless they do like a special. I know they always do a live event at Madison Square Garden, but as far as like
a
TV,
holiday show.
yeah, but like as far as TV wise, they don't really run the Garden anymore.
So yeah, it's actually just when I look back at this card, and I actually watched it all the way through for the first time since I watched it live on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
There's just, I hate saying this, there's just so much crap.
I won't lie. Mania 20, it feels like it's like, I hope you guys understand when I say it feels trapped in the year that it took place.
Yup.
If you know what I mean, like it
Oh, yeah.
feels like a mid 2000s WWE show.
Yeah. It just feels like you didn't book stories, you booked individuals because of their names. Like
Right.
the best example of this is the 3-on-2 handicap match, The Rock and Sock Connection versus Evolution. That match serves no purpose.
I've always felt odd about that match because the match is very obviously designed to get Randy Orton over.
Yes.
But if you wanted to do that, why not just do Mick and Orton in a single?
Do the Backlash match. You did Backlash the next month.
Yeah.
Just do it at Mania.
That's what I'm saying. Like, especially because that's a much better match than this 3-on-2 match. But like, I've always felt odd about this match because The Rock just seems like he's there. Like and he looks unbelievably checked out during this match.
Oh yeah.
Like he looks like he would rather be anywhere else. And I don't know if it's because he had already fully moved on to acting by this point, but he was always, my understanding is he was always going to come back for a one shot at Mania during this time period.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Vince promised him a match and that didn't happen. I've always read a rumor that him and Eddie Guerrero was supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Around this time period, but it just never came to be. And
he looked I was just gonna say too, he looks strange.
Well,
He looked very odd.
Yeah.
well, and also I'm gonna say this: they were the curtain jerker match. They were the match you would have before intermission. If you're sitting at home playing armchair producer, they would have been the match right before intermission.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. It's the fourth match on the card, so it is legitimately like smack dab in the middle of the show, which is very odd to have that match
Yeah,
take
it's
place there.
bizarre. There's a lot of bizarreness with this card.
I would honestly have that match open, but I wouldn't. I don't disagree with Cena and Big Show opening because, especially with how over John Cena was during this time period,
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like the start of Cena's run to the top was this show, which is pretty cool to look back on.
I also think it's very bizarre to sit here and look at this show, and I did watch it, and
Yeah.
just while I was watching it, I'm like, this flows so horribly, and it goes
Yeah.
way off the rails when you have the Goldberg Brock Lesnar match.
Oh boy.
Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret says it's the worst WrestleMania match of all time, which I don't agree with. But
I'm gonna go Giant
wouldn't.
Palace and Undertaker at WrestleMania
Yeah.
9.
yeah,
And Undertaker is involved in another one, the 2-on-1 handicap match, Undertaker versus Big Show
Big Show and A-Train.
A-Train, because
Yeah.
Nathan Jones was injured or whatever.
He was too green. They didn't want him to work.
One
Yeah.
thing I liked about the Lesnar Goldberg match was I like right early on they're chanting Austin. Austin was the only guy within the context of the match who was actually over with the crowd.
Because
And-
go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, I was gonna say he and Goldberg kind of share a look.
Yeah.
Like they kind of smile at each other when the crowd is chanting for Austin. Like it's subtle. It's a
Yeah.
But
little
I also
smile, but it's
think
funny.
what's so great about that moment is you want to know how great Stone Cold Steve Austin is? There's millions of examples as to why Stone Cold Steve Austin is great.
Yeah.
But this is one of the prime examples because he is the best at reading the crowd
Mhm.
and making changes on the fly.
Yeah.
And he does it as the ref. Like
Yeah.
that match was absolute crap. But
It's not a good match, like at
no,
all.
it's not. But he makes it passable because
Mhm.
of the things he does.
Right.
And I don't think those two stunners at the end were planned.
You don't?
I think the one to Brock was. I don't think the one to Goldberg was.
Yeah, I don't, because if you look, when Goldberg takes it, he takes it so awkwardly. I think Austin says, "I'm a stun ya," and Goldberg goes, "What?" Kick in the gut, and you're going for a ride.
Because Brock takes the stunner great, but Goldberg does not.
Yeah, but Goldberg, to me, Goldberg not taking a move correctly is not
That's
necessarily proof that he didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just normal.
Yeah.
But-
So I don't know.
But they also WWE also kind of set this match up for failure because they didn't hide the fact that Lesnar was leaving to go to the NFL, and they also weren't hiding the fact that Goldberg wasn't coming back either. So they were kind of just like they were trying to like kind of bury these two guys on the way out, but
Mhm.
that doesn't excuse the match that they had. Like if Lesnar and Goldberg went out there and just delivered a kick-ass match, I think they could have got the crowd back into it.
Yeah.
But they just didn't because I don't know if Brock probably just
I
didn't
think
care
they
enough.
they both were done after this. So
Yeah.
I think it legit was both of them had, dare I say, both feet out the door.
Yeah.
And that's when we get into a booking problem or a front office problem.
Yeah.
when you get into that, now we're going down a totally different road. I don't think that this match should have been on the card. The
I
moment
don't
it
think so
was
either.
known both of them were leaving, you had to know, hot New York crowd filled with smarks, knows they're leaving, you're going to lose the crowd. And realistically, there are just so many bad matches. The 2 title matches are what saves this card and makes it
Yeah.
redeemable.
Goldberg or not Goldberg, Eddie and Kurt is really good.
Yeah.
That match is awesome.
Eddie and Kurt, I think, is one of the low-key greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. With
Yeah,
the
it's really good.
story they told, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
It's just like Kurt continuously trying to get after the leg, Eddie living up to his lie, cheat, and steal with untying the boot, and then that's how he gets the win. Like, I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I think Eddie's WWE title run, it doesn't get talked about a lot. It's like it's not like a super long run or anything, but I
Right.
think he did everything he could to make it like the title. Like he worked so hard while he was WWE champion, and it's honestly a very underrated run in my opinion.
There's been stories about how he put a tremendous amount of pressure on himself too.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very.
That's
very
why
challenging for him.
I've always heard that's why they took it off him so soon, was because Vince was just like, this just isn't good for you. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Eddie, the more we learn about Eddie, the more he's just a tragic person in the annals of pro wrestling. He looked at himself as he was like Gilbert when he was Owen Hart, and
Yeah.
one of the best workers of all time. And I think that there are some guys that, and I want to be very careful because I do not want to disparage Eddie Guerrero. I love Eddie. I miss Eddie.
Yeah.
I think I think Eddie Guerrero at 50% is better than 80% of pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
And he was just, I think after he overcame the addiction, it was always trying to prove something to himself.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
those are the demons that beat us the most, is the ones we create within our own head.
Mhm.
And that's what I dare say killed Eddie.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's sad. And I think I think he deserved a title run. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
I personally, after they dropped it, I would have given him like 3-4 months off
Yeah.
Mm.
instead of just pushing him right back into a top spot in the tag division with Chavo.
Yeah.
Because then you're putting the pressure on Eddie that he has to carry Chavo. And I don't mean carry negatively, but Eddie was the workhorse of that team.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And the more
Absolutely.
clearly, the much more charismatic too
Yeah.
as a character.
Eddie
Yeah.
had to carry that team.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think, and I don't want to say like this would have saved Eddie Guerrero or anything, but I think it would have helped Eddie Guerrero a lot mentally, is after he drops this title and eventually loses the rematch to JBL. I think if you would have ran right into the Rey Mysterio feud that they had in 2005, I think that would have helped out Eddie a lot, because there's no carrying involved when it comes to him and Rey Mysterio, because Rey
True.
Mysterio is great in his own right. So I think it would have just, it would have made Eddie feel a lot more comfortable. It would have made him, kind of take the load off a little bit, because he's in there with somebody that he obviously trusts a lot.
Mhm.
And the matches would have been good no matter what. So I think they just kind of waited a long time to do something with Eddie, and then ultimately they and ultimately what happened, unfortunately. But I think there was just a lot of waiting around when it came to Eddie after he dropped the belt.
Right.
Yeah, Austin, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's the tragic part of the Eddie Guerrero story. Now, I have an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
The other main event,
The triple threat.
the triple threat. And
Yeah.
Austin, I think Austin's sitting there and he's like, I know what he's gonna say.
Because I also have an opinion on this match.
Because I am a Triple H mark. That is
Yeah.
documented. But I'm not gonna say what you think I'm gonna say, Austin.
Oh, I'm very curious because I have no idea what you're gonna say.
Chris Benoit shouldn't have won.
Oh, why?
Okay.
Like, I felt that then. I felt it rewatching it, removing everything we know about.
Right. Well, yeah,
I have never had sex
Obviously, yeah.
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Oh,
That's quit projecting, my call. Look, you don't project on us, Proxima. Look, you.
What our audio podcast listeners are like? Wait, Charlie Kirk was in the triple threat? What?
No, the utter brilliance and sheer intellect of Mike Hall comedy
Gotcha.
accused us of having sexual thoughts about Charlie Kirk.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And now someone eats dog turds. Okay.
Erica's attractive, but
I mean, I think gold digging women lose all attractiveness to me.
fair.
Grifting gold diggers, you could be Anne Hathaway, who is my Hollywood crush, and I would be done.
Yeah, fair.
But moving on, I think Shawn Michaels should have won.
Mm.
And my reasoning is, you do the same thing with Triple H you should have done with Eddie. Triple H is off TV for a couple months. That allows you to get Batista and Randy Orton, moreover, because they don't need Triple H.
Right.
So I'll just a quick counter argument, and this is probably a predictable one. I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, but if Benoit doesn't go over, you don't have that great moment that so many people talk about at the end, where Benoit and Eddie are in the ring together, holding up their championship belts at the end of the show.
Yeah, that's a great moment. Okay,
and that is considered iconic.
Right. Okay, great. Iconic moment. They sold a ton of merch off of it. Good job. Yeah.
Well, because that's what it's all about, right? That's what wrestling is all about, is moments.
Okay, cool. But imagine the moments you could have in May, June, July. You could have Chris Benoit feud with Shawn Michaels over those months. Give Shawn another run. And you could have Benoit chase him and have great matches. And the stories you could tell there would be epic.
I don't disagree, but also, how do you think the crowd would have reacted to that? Because I think the crowd was expecting Benoit and wanted Benoit to go over.
It was a very pro Benoit crowd.
Yeah, all the momentum was there. I think that that's what it was, predictable in a sense, but I think that's what everyone wanted. They wanted to see Benoit, this underdog, go over and become champion.
Especially with him winning the Royal Rumble at the #1 spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my take about this match, and
I'm sorry, I just saw a comment and I want to address it. But that second run though, Jen, he had that one run with the world title.
Yeah.
He never had another run after that.
I truly like to think, though, that was a choice by Shawn.
Well, it's easier for you to get everyone else over when you're not the champion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Shawn wanted to do. And fine, but I still, and yes, Jen, I do agree that there would have been a revolt, but I circle back. screw them.
Yeah, but it's Shawn Michaels at the end of the day. Like the crowd's not gonna boo Shawn Michaels.
Right.
That crowd might have, because they were hot for Benoit.
Yeah.
That's true. And it's a New York
When
crowd.
when Triple H did tap out, like that's like the pop of the night when Benoit gets
I
the win.
would not have
Yeah.
had Triple H tap out either.
Oh.
That's where my markism comes into play.
Yeah, I think you're just being a mark. I think Triple H tapping out is the right ending.
I think so too.
You know, I think I don't like Triple H tapping out.
Why not?
I think because then the next month at Backlash, they have Triple H versus Chris Benoit. Why do I want to see that? I watched Triple H tap out in the middle of the ring to this guy. Tapping out is the ultimate loss. You are quitting. Like, you are done. That's why it's so hard to book Bret Hart, because his finisher is a submission move. The guy taps out, the guy quit. The guy couldn't take fighting Bret Hart anymore. Bruce Pritchard has said that. That's the hard part when someone's finisher is a submission, because anytime they win, you're really bumping that guy to the back of the line.
Yeah, but in that match, I always looked at it as Triple H was trying the most he could to get Benoit over as a main event guy, and him tapping out is kind of like, because Triple H doesn't tap out very often. It's like,
right.
I think he was trying to do his best to get Benoit as over as possible.
Again, Austin, I agree with you. I just don't like it. I can agree with you and see the reasoning behind it, but I can also say I don't like it.
Yeah. My take about this match, and I can't really say this like out and about because of the winner and who's involved. This is one of my favorite matches of all time, actually.
Really?
I love this match a lot. It's my favorite triple threat match I've ever seen. If I don't know if it would be in my top 10 matches of all time, but it would definitely be in my like top 15, I think. Because I just think those three guys work so well together. And every spot was on time. Everyone knew their cues. Shawn gets color in this match for
a lot of it too.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot. Too much. A little too much for me. It's like the Crimson Mask, as they call it.
For no reason.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, it didn't need to be there, but main event of Mania, go crazy.
Do you think they did it because of where they were? Because it's New York and that crowd wants blood?
Maybe.
I don't think you have to twist Shawn Michaels' arm to get juice.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think
you probably just have to punch his forehead.
I think
actually, sorry to cut you off, Austin. One of the most impressive things about Shawn is you look at his head, you don't see gig marks, because he did it like right on the hairline.
He was a hairline. He was a hairline gigger, not a forehead gigger.
Yeah,
it's not like when you look at Devon and you can very clearly tell.
Oh, that scar tissue, or
the
Butcher with the craters in his head,
or Dusty Rhodes. He had quite the.
Same with Foley. If you look at like Foley's head, it's not super noticeable.
Get it?
Actually, even Triple H.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as you get older, it's more pronounced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, eventually, like it's just gonna go away.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, oh man. But yeah, I think all things being what they are, I like the ending shot. I thought it was cool. This card just had so many bad booking decisions. But I think the top two matches saved it.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, this card could have been a massive letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some garbage on there.
Undertaker and Kane only getting 7 minutes.
That's a bad
you
match too.
When you built this was their second run at a feud, and you built it up. I thought Undertaker's entrance was longer than the match.
But
Yeah.
well, to me though, that's what it was all about anyway. Like it only needed to be a short match because
this is
who really gave a shit about the match? What we
was
cared about
also-
was his entrance, going back to being the dead man.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This whole
Yeah.
match was just to signify that this was the return of the dead man character.
Right.
I also look back to what I feel they were setting up for. A feud between Undertaker and Mordecai.
Oh yes.
Which
Oh, yes.
which would have been excellent if Mordecai didn't absolutely suck as a
Yeah.
professional wrestler.
Yeah, Mordecai came and went quick. What did he make?
I
two
think,
He had like
appearances
two.
on television?
He had like
when you
2
had a-
matches or
I
something.
think when
Yeah.
you had a 5-minute match on SmackDown and four of the 5 holds you threw were botched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
No, it was on a pay-per-view. His debut match was on a pay-per-view. It was on
Hey,
the American Bash.
He wrestled
Wow.
Hardcore Holly, I think.
Oh, he
And
did?
it was bad.
Yeah.
He went for a power slam and dropped Holly on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Danhausen. You know.
Oh yeah.
How about Danhausen?
I think we all do.
somehow have to talk about Danhausen.
You know, we are just going to dedicate a segment to this show every week on Danhausen.
Oh, I
What
can't wait.
is Danhausen up to? You know, I'm upset that I'm not going to probably not have my Danhausen shirt by WrestleMania. I
Oh,
ordered it when it came out and it's been back ordered. But these little snot-nosed little pukes at Raw get free shirts. I spent $42 to get a shirt, and I'm not getting it, but he's using them in a t-shirt cannon.
oh, the t-shirt cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know those shirts, like they're not gonna fit like the normal person. They're throwing out like
If
you.
there's a single 2XL in that t-shirt cannon, I'm gonna go ballistic.
Yeah, but they're throwing out like youth larges or something like that. It's just like
Yeah.
Joe Tessitore got a free shirt, and I'm still waiting for mine.
Joe Tessitore probably could have just walked backstage and grabbed one.
Well, yeah.
Well, maybe they should grab one for me.
No, you bought it. That's on you.
Okay, pro janitor or whatever the hell you're calling yourself.
Progenitor. He's
Shut
the
up, Matt.
he's the
Okay,
progenitor of Tough Bumps.
You know, you need to be on my side of this.
I mean, you bought a Danhausen shirt. I don't know.
You don't want to buy a Danhausen shirt?
Not yet. I'll wait till he gets a better designed shirt, then maybe.
Dude, he
Oh.
has like 5 shirts now, and they're all pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, get with the program. Although the RKO one with the blood mark is
That is a cool shirt.
amazing.
That
I
is
do
a
like
cool
that
shirt.
one.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that one too. I like that one too.
But I mean, I think my closing remarks on this card is it could have been so much better than what it was. And
Yeah.
it should have been based on the matches. It just goes back to a saying Bruce Pritchard has. Eventually the bell rings.
Mm-hmm.
And you get what you get.
Mm-hmm.
I think they tried to cram too much into this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Any other thoughts on WrestleMania 20, where it all began?
Again.
Again. The closing segment with Benoit and Guerrero is really cool and really nice. Unfortunately, it's just a visual where we'll never see again unless you watch this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a great show, but the world title matches make this a very watchable show, I would say.
I agree. Oh, by the way, Jericho versus Christian. I thought that was a good match.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good match.
That is probably low key the best non-title match on this card.
It's a really good match. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's better than the women's title versus hair match.
Oh yeah. No, although I love Molly Holly, I thought was very underrated.
I think the Molly Holly Victoria match is one of those matches that, unfortunately, sometimes people just have bad chemistry. You can't. For that match, they did.
Hasn't Molly Holly said though that like there wasn't even going to be a women's match on Mania until she brought the idea that she was willing to go bald?
She had to fight for it.
Yeah.
She had to agree to have her head shaved.
You know, that just shows the dark side of where WWE is at that point in time, because they had an evening gown match that was longer. That was longer than your title match.
That's Sable's last WWE appearance, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was. Well,
I don't remember her around much longer after that.
When you're getting porked by Brock Lesnar, you can afford to not work.
That's true.
Well, should we talk about all right, well, very good. Now, have we talked about did I miss it? Did we talk about next week?
But because our new #1 fan, Mike Hall Comedy, has just said all throughout this show, he's sick of hearing me talk. Austin, what WrestleMania do you want us to cover next week?
Ooh.
Oh, it's up to me.
You are the progenitor.
How about we do my favorite WrestleMania of all time? It's 10 after this one, WrestleMania 30.
Okay.
We will cover WrestleMania 30 and what should have been the Punk movement.
Yes.
We're gonna have some debates next week.
Yeah.
This might be this is gonna be a really highly debated episode.
Good. I like that. All right. Well, let's see. Okay, so Eric, you want to plug Pilcher's Point?
Yes, you can find me on pilcherspoint.com. You can also now find me on one of the top Notre Dame websites, irishtribune.com. While we were on air, they posted my preview of the Notre Dame women's basketball team, a preview of their second round matchup with the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Okay.
Austin, I think you have a stalker. Mike Hall Comedy might be in love with Austin.
I think so. He likes you, Austin. He's sweet on you.
Whatever Austin likes, I'm sure it will be epic.
Yep.
Well,
Austin,
WrestleMania 30 is a really good show.
Absolutely. Austin, where can at the Mike Hall Comedy find you?
I'm on Twitter. It's where I talk about wrestling a lot of the time, but sports, movies, other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter.
All right. Very good. And of course you can find me at mattconnerton.com. And thank you to Bad Billy for joining us earlier. That was cool. That was fun. And of course,
it was great to have Billy on. Although someone just commented, I'm having gay thoughts at the moment. Well, if you are while watching Three Guys, that would make you gay.
Well, we're pretty sexy, so.
I mean, hey,
Yep. Well, very good.
I would like to thank all of our viewers today.
Yes.
Mike Hall Comedy, the famous Gary Coleman from the grave.
Yeah.
Pilcher's Point somehow joined us when I actually have Pilcher's Point trademarked, and it's an LLC, so we're gonna have to have YouTube look into who owns Pilcher's Point and possibly seek some legal action regarding that.
At the Mike Hall Comedy says Eric talking in the third person now.
Well, when you're as good as me, and when you're everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, Irish Tribune. You should talk about yourself in the third person.
That's right. The Rock does. It's been very successful for him.
Yeah, it has. I should just say the Eric says. Like I should just go that route now.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
Well,
Matt, where can they find you? Because they accuse Jenny of not booking for a radio program, which is bizarre.
that's true. Well, you can hear Matt Connerton Unleashed live weekday mornings from 9. I'm sorry, not weekday, weekend, Saturday specifically. My brain is fried. This chat room has fried my brain. Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time. What's that?
Stupidity has a tendency to do that.
Yes, yes. Just go to mattconnerton.com. You can keep up with everything that I'm doing there, including the radio show, the actual radio show that I do at an actual radio station.
Yes, not running to Australia
No.
because no one wants to employ you in America.
Right. No, that is not the case in my case.
Yeah.
And by the way, it'll be 9 years in April. Next month, it'll be 9 years at WMNH 95.3. Can't believe it. But anyway, cool. Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much. And I guess that's it. Episode 37 in the books. Please subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice. And if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I think we're going to have a bunch of new subscribers today. I got a feeling.
Awesome. And guys, please come back next week. Take breaks from your lonely, pathetic lives to ridicule 3 guys talking about pro wrestling.
Yes.